Hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk about the role of university in the growth of Shenzhen's digital creative economy. So in this presentation, it will include two parts. I will first talk about my PhD project in general, and then I will move on to my case study. Before I start, I would like to introduce myself a little bit. I'm now a PhD candidate in Makassar. Before I begin my PhD, I worked in a state-owned company in Shenzhen. My job was primarily writing reports, such as research reports and commercial reports for the government and for the company. So I did some investigation, and we write the reports in order to support the government and the company's better management and investment decision. And I find that I do love doing research and I love writing, so this motivates me to pursue a PhD. I think my PhD project is really interesting and will be valuable as well, maybe in the future. So it is exploring the role of university in the growth of Shenzhen's digital creative economy. This project engaged with universities and digital creative economy. I am interested in the role that universities are playing in this increasingly digital and knowledge-driven society. I'm also interested in the drivers of growth in the rapidly evolving digital creative economy of Shenzhen. Something that really attracts me is the innovation and entrepreneurship that taking place in Shenzhen. All of my research is based on Shenzhen, the city that I come from. And I think that Shenzhen provides a different geographic, culture, and economic context for my project. So, in order to achieve these research objectives, I identify 3 sub-questions. These 3 sub-questions will help me to explore my project from different perspectives. These 3 sub-questions are: first, how do universities view their role within the digital creative economy in Shenzhen? 2, how is the policy environment impacting on relationships between Shenzhen's universities and the creative economy? 3, is there evidence of knowledge, talent, resources flow between the creative economy and Shenzhen's universities? So, as all my research is based on Shenzhen, so I think it would be helpful for me to provide you a little bit context of Shenzhen. Shenzhen is located in the southern part of China, border to Hong Kong. It is the first special economic zone in China, so it has always been served as a social and economic experimentation in China, and as well as international collection. Shenzhen is called the window of China for the world. So Shenzhen actually followed a very unusual development path. This is a picture of Shenzhen in 1979. You can see at that time, Shenzhen was a remote, pool and backwater area interspersed with rice paddies and ponds, and the population is only 300,000. And this is a picture of Shenzhen nowadays. It is called China's Silicon Valley and the powerhouse of innovation and technology. The population has grown so fast to 12 million. So this is a chart between Hong Kong and Shenzhen in terms of GDP. You can see that Shenzhen's GDP first surpassed Hong Kong last year, and you can see how fast Shenzhen's economy grows over the past 40 years. Besides that, I also want to introduce the policy that occurred recently. So last year, China issued the Guangdong, Hong Kong, Macau Great Bay Area Plan. This plan includes 9 cities in Guangdong province, including Hong Kong, Macau, Shenzhen, and Guangzhou. So this is a picture of this Great Bay Area, and these are some infrastructures that linked these cities together. So this plan intends to develop this area into a Silicon Valley-like area. So it aims to foster growth in these areas by boosting technology and innovation, and by increasing infrastructure and linking financial relationships between these cities. And last week, Shenzhen was chosen by the central government to be a pioneering area of socialism with Chinese characteristics. Well, from my point of view, I think that Shenzhen will play a more important and influential role, not only in China, in Great Bay Area, but also in China. So it is expected that Shenzhen, there are some lessons that could be taken from Shenzhen's practice for other cities in China. This project will also place Shenzhen in the global context. So this project will make a cross-sectional comparison between Shenzhen and other cities in the world, such as Silicon Valley, Tokyo, and Singapore. And these cities have already underwent a similar economic progress. And so this project will explore similarities and differences between Shenzhen and these cities. I find that this project will adopt the triple helix framework for my project. Triple helix is a theory based on the interconnection between 3 actors, these 3 actors are university, industry, and government. So this triple helix theory is widely acknowledged as an approach for knowledge-based economy and also an innovation model. I find that this triple helix theory helpful for my project, not only because it identifies these 3 actors in the economic system, but it also helps analyze the interactions and relationships between these 3 actors. This project adopts a qualitative methodology which concerning my data collection and data analysis. In the first half of this year, I carried out my fieldwork. So I conducted 27 interviews with relevant stakeholders who are professors from universities, government officers, startups, and managers from small companies. I also collected some data, do some site visit, and went to some conference. So after my fieldwork, I have some initial findings. The first one is that I find that boundary spanning plays a significant role in the growth of the digital creative economy in Shenzhen. 2, universities and academics find it easier to take up the role of boundary spanning in Shenzhen. And 3, the relationship between the industry and the university is two-way, so they are shaping and being shaped by each other. In the next section, I will move to my case study. So it is about the Shenzhen Virtual University Park. Shenzhen Virtual University Park is very helpful to provide information for my project because it is a place where a lot of universities are located. And also there are many big companies around this park. So I would like to provide some details about the park. It is located in the center of Shenzhen, and currently there are 60 member universities in this park, including Tsinghua University, Beijing University, and Hong Kong University, and some other international universities. Around the park, there are several big giant companies such as Tencent, ZTE, DJI, and Huawei used to locate near this park as well. So this means there are several Fortune 5 companies as well as some emerging unicorn companies. This in some way indicate the prosperity of this area. The initial purpose of this park was created by the Shenzhen government to facilitate innovation and collaboration between university, industry, and government. And the other thing is that because Shenzhen has a limited number of universities, so this park was also established in order to utilize knowledge, talent, collections, and resources of universities elsewhere in China. The three actors in this park are government, university, and industry. So in this early stage, this park adopts a top-down design. So government play a dominant role in this park. Government made great efforts in attracting universities to this park. It's important to mention that how universities actually operate in this park, because Chinese universities actually occupy a special and important place in China. And a key difference that universities in China differ from universities elsewhere is its governance structure. So this means the interaction between universities and government in China and in Western countries is totally different. So what is the difference of university in China? It is the governance structure. So every university in China has a university communities committee, which means the government interact with universities in a very special way, and this means these universities, their activities need to follow the government's communist parties' policies and regulations. And however, the good news for this park is that at that time, Shenzhen is already a leader in marketization and economic reform, which means Shenzhen has already established relatively comprehensive market policies and regulations. And what's more, a huge and active private sector economy has emerged from bottom up. So in some way, this Shenzhen Virtual University Park is using and adopting the triple helix system. So we can identify the actors in this park, and however, how do these actors collaborate with each other? And in my opinion, that boundary spanning actually helps link these different knowledge groups, institutions, and different sectors in this economy. So they help make connections between these. And boundary spanning actually can be analyzed at two levels. So they are called boundary spanning individual and institutions. Professor Huang is one of my interviewees, and he is a typical boundary spanner in China's digital creative industry, especially the VR industry. He is now the professor in Shenzhen University and also the president of China's VR Industry Association. Before he joined academia, he worked as a government consultant, and also he owned and managed his small companies. So he's special is especially good at coordinating activities across different fields, and this is partly because of his personal experience. But what's more, I think that it is because of his identity as a professor in the higher education system that enable him to take up the role of boundary spanner in China. This is a place that I visited. It is the Tsinghua University in Shenzhen, and this institution is also a good example of boundary spanner institution in Shenzhen. Tsinghua University is the first university to move to Shenzhen. So after about 30 years of exploration and development in Shenzhen, Tsinghua University has already established its own developed model or mechanism. So it is called 四不像 Institute or 四不像 model, which means this model doesn't look like anything else. And there is a, an explanation. So Tsinghua University is not a Tsinghua University in Shenzhen. It is not a university, yet exactly like a university with different culture. And it is a research center, yet not exactly like a research center with different content. And it is a enterprise, yet not exactly like an enterprise with different goal. So which means it doesn't run for profit. And it is a public institute, yet with different, not exactly like a public institute, with different mechanism. So the Dean Assistant of Tsinghua University in Shenzhen told me in our interview that it is because of this special institutional arrangement that helped Tsinghua to carry out its business in Shenzhen. So it enables Tsinghua University to cross different boundaries, which these boundaries can be cultural boundaries, institutional boundaries, and different types of boundaries in Shenzhen. So Tsinghua University in Shenzhen actually now is the biggest university affiliate incubator in Shenzhen. So it has formed its own a very full chain value chain. So after this case analysis, I find two preliminary conclusions. That is, universities and academics find it easier to take up the role of boundary spanning in Shenzhen. Two, because professors are staff in university and higher education institution. So the synergy between boundary spanning individuals and institutions is very important when implementing the triple helix approach. This is just one of my case analysis. Currently, there are several difficulties that face me, which I want to discuss with you so that you can help me and we can overcome these challenges. So one issue is about the structure of my thesis. So basically, there will be 7 or 8 chapters, and the body chapters will be the 3 case studies. So how can I correlate between these 3 case studies to have a better understanding of the boundary spanning or the triple helix or the open access or these different theories in my project? How can these 3 cases link with each other, and how can they support to achieve the research objective of this project is a big issue that I met with. And the other challenges I face is because of my economic and management background, so I want to make this PhD project an interdisciplinary project. So I want to combine approaches from economic management and humanities and even urban planning or something else that integrate them to my project. But I always find there is a conflict between this, and how can I handle this is a problem I met. And also I find that in order to answer my research question, I can choose many cases and try to analyze these cases from different perspectives. But which would be the best case and which would be the best angle always makes me confused. I think this picture maybe can express my feeling at this stage. I knew that I'm very certain that I will get my destination in the end, but currently there are a lot of ways, and which one will be the best is which maybe you can tell me or give me some help. So please feel free to make comments and ask questions. Thank you very much.